What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Daily Sean. For those of you who are new here, my name is Sean. I do a daily video on something related to nursing. There's no rhyme or reason. It's probably not going to change. Today's topic, fan request. Someone asking me to talk about charting, the dreaded animal of charting. Charting sucks. Let's just put that out there. It is a requirement. It is part of our job. I've been doing this for 10 years and we haven't eliminated charting yet. I don't think it's going anywhere. Probably should get used to it. Accept it. And while we're at it, how about if you get better at it? I thought I'd talk about 5 things that come to mind when you talk about charting. Every nurse out there learns in Nursing School 101, if it's not charted, it didn't happen. Number 1, this is a biggie. This is one of those, are you freaking kidding me? There are actually nurses out there that do something called pre-charting. Yes, it's wrong. It's not only wrong, but it's sort of against the law. You cannot pre-chart. You can't chart something that technically hasn't happened yet. Whatever you do, don't fall victim to the, I'm not gonna have time in 3 hours, so I'm gonna chart now for what I'm gonna do in 3 hours. The minute you do that, your patient's condition will change. I know of professionals that have lost their jobs and lost their license because they decided to pre-chart. I don't care how boring the shift is. Need we go back to the word boring? I didn't say Q word. I didn't say Q word. I swear to God, I didn't say Q word. I don't care how slow the shift is. You do not pre-chart, okay? Do not pre-chart. You deserve a throat punch for that. And I don't think anybody wants to go to jail or break the law. Number 2, when you chart, I want you to be thorough, but could you be concise? Thoroughness doesn't mean that you chart a small book, okay? It does not mean that you have to write Homer's Iliad on your patient. Be thorough, but be concise. Concise means to the point. Point, to the point. Don't ramble on. Make your point quickly. The great thing is that most of the electronic charting out there has eliminated this problem, but every once in a while you come across a nurse or you come across a system that allows you to do narrative notes, and then all bets are off. Most electronic charting systems have moved towards the chart by exception, which is if everything's normal, you're just going to check a box and everything's normal. But for most of us who take care of patients that are sick, most of the systems are not normal. While I think the point was to make things more streamlined and more efficient and quicker, I think it does just the opposite. I really do. And what really bugs me sometimes is that somebody will write a narrative note that is 3 pages long on someone's wounds and the description and the size and the edges. And granted, I know we're supposed to do that, but you could do that in 2 sentences or less. 2 sentences or less. I mean, get the 5 or 6 cues out of your way, and you're done. If you're gonna do that about the gosh darn wounds, you better give me the 6 cues on pain. You're gonna. I don't get it. Some individuals out there will be very descriptive about wounds, but then they'll chart, patient has shoulder pain. And that's it. Okay, what kind of pain? Where is it located? How long has it been going on? What's the quality of the pain? Is it acute? Is it chronic? I mean, seriously. Have some consistency, please. Number 3, you charted what? What happened? Did we actually take care of the same patient? Listen, I understand that we all have done the copy and paste thing. While I know that we won't publicly admit it out loud because it's technically against the law, you know what I'm talking. But we all have done the copy and paste thing. You're lying if you've never done it. But if you're gonna copy and paste an assessment, you think you could copy and paste what's accurate. Don't copy and paste respiratory descriptions of someone who was intubated when the next day or the next shift they've already been extubated and they're on nasal cannula, yet you copied and pasted vent settings. It's kind of wrong. Okay? Pay attention to what you're actually charting. Number 4, this is the bane of many nurses' existence, is accurately charting I's and O's. And I'm not saying that you just have to be able to do math. Math is a prerequisite. You better be able to add and subtract. I mean, seriously, if you can't do that, you might want to look for another job. And even if you can't do math, you have these things called calculators, and then like on your smartphone, you actually have a calculator. You can go to the internet. What I'm talking about is properly conglomerating all of that correctly. For instance, you have tubes and drains. Make sure you actually assess, correctly document what drain is where and what's happening in that drain. I don't know how many times I've had someone who has had an NG in for 24 hours and nobody's documented the actual output. Big thing is making sure that you understand inputs and outputs. And I know this sounds really elementary, but understand dialysis and what happens in dialysis and documenting dialysis appropriately. If you have a 3-way Foley, how are you actually monitoring the input and output of the 3-way Foley? Are you taking into account the whole bag that's going in, or are you taking what's just coming out? There's a plus and a minus sign that goes on with that. Let's all be on the same page, because there's one nurse that'll do it one way and then one nurse does it the other way. Pass on and report what you're actually doing. It makes it very hard to actually assess someone's fluid volume balance. CRRTs, how exactly are we monitoring that? What's going in, what's going out? What's the total net loss? Okay? Let's all be on the same page with that. Don't be doing your own thing and then wondering why providers get upset because we don't have accurate assessments. And number 5, lastly, please do your part. Okay? We have these things called care plans. And I remember when I was having to do these things, we had to do them every week on certain systems and certain pathways. You had to do it weekly on a Monday or a Tuesday or something like that. There's certain things that have to be done every week. Now, if you're at work on that day and you haven't done your part, don't go shuffling it off to the night shift. Come on, man. Do your part. Every week, you know, most units have wound care initiatives where every week, at the very least, you have to make sure that your wound assessment is in for your patient population. Granted, it should be way more than a week. You understand the concept. There's certain pathways that you do once a week. Make sure you're doing your part. Don't go shoveling that off onto somebody else. It really doesn't take that long to do either. Come on. Seriously? And you know who you are. Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry. Think you can take care of that? Oh, I didn't know we did that every week. Come on! Almost deserves a throw punch. What'd you think of this one? What are your pains when it comes to charting? Because it's a necessary evil is not going away anytime soon. Trust me. 10 years later, still doing it. What do you think we should talk about when it comes to charting? What do you find that is annoying? What tips do you have to make charting our friend? Always love to hear from you. Leave me a comment down below. Always love a thumbs up. Share this with somebody. And as always, check your own pulse first.